Okay, and we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Spicy Takes. Doing things a little bit differently this week with our friend Christopher at Swapper Finance. We're doing a pre-recording this week just to make sure our times line up. We're on different sides of the world, but really appreciate you joining us today, Christopher. How about you tell everyone about yourself, how you got into this space, and then some of the things that inspired you to get to where you are now?
My great pleasure. Thank you very much, Matt, for the invitation, and great to meet everyone here listening from the SpiceNet side and beyond. Um, well, yes, would love to, right? Myself being present in crypto since a while, 9, 10 years, something like this. So it's been a hell of a journey. Very, very interested in the technology from the day one, and this is what actually brought me into the space. And exploring what can be done, how things can be improved, what are the points that are actually needing fixing is what interests me the most. And that's what brought me into the space right now with mostly with the Chainlink ecosystem. I'm involved as I am a great I'm not sure if I should say great fan, but a great supporter. It would be a good word. And the onboarding, which is a topic of today's conversation, is the one that would love to speak about in more details.
Totally, yeah. So I guess 10 years ago when you came into the space, was it Bitcoin that brought you in?
It
Probably what.
was Bitcoin miners, right? So, building those GPU powered machines. This was the early stage. Then was the Ethereum and smart contracts, which actually got the most of my interest, right? The fact that you can build a smart contract in a and execute code decentralized manner. This was was super interesting for me, and this is where my journey started. Writing first smart contracts for first job in the software house. It was the bull run 2017, right? So 9 years ago. True.
Wow.
This
You were
was
writing smart contracts 9 years ago?
I was, yes, and there
Wow,
was no
good for
vibe
you.
coding then, but I was doing some smart contracts, mostly for the ICO management, third-party companies that they were well, at that moment very very popular. That the things changes a lot, but my background is very tech, and I've started by being a part of the
Well, yeah,
crypto smart contracts.
that's amazing. You were writing smart contracts by hand, the old-fashioned way, no AI involved.
The
Just
smart contracts were like 100 lines of code. That's it, right? And that's usually the case. The more is actually the app around it than the smart
yeah,
contract itself.
probably still better to not vibe code the smart contracts, I guess.
uh, true enough. At the same time, it's a good idea to verify with AI for any potential exploits or whatever. And I would definitely recommend it, right? Whenever you write something, it does not cost you anything. Well, maybe a little bit, but not much, right?
Some
To
tokens,
ask to ask
yeah.
AI, okay, what can go wrong? What's wrong here with this code? Can it do better?
The self audit.
Sort of, yes. I mean, we have this technology available right now, so not using it, I don't know why, right? It's
Yeah.
so easy, it's so accessible. Even if the AI would hallucinate or whatever and don't provide you the right response, well, you are the developer yourself, so you can verify, you can test it.
Yeah, that's one thing that I kind of realized doing a little bit more vibe coding myself is that I see a lot of people complain about the fact that it's not perfect and they're like, "Oh, it can make mistakes," and they act like that's a reason to not even use it. It's like, well, okay, yeah, you have to do some work. Like you do have to use your brain a little bit, but like it can still be a huge productivity tool and make things a lot quicker.
Definitely. No, it is a huge productivity tool. It's shifted a little bit on how much you need to read instead of actually write, right? So you start reading. You are like this PR reviewer right now that validates what the AI responds, but not using it. Well, it definitely has a huge impact on the productivity. We in our team do use AI tools not only on the coding side. It's very, very supportive on actually every part of the business, right? From the marketing through business planning, the outreach planning, everything.
Totally.
It's there.
Totally, yeah. Well, so okay, so you went from writing smart contracts 9 years ago. Were you using DeFi a lot at the time as well? Like, have you been a user for a long time, or more on the dev side?
Well, back then, DeFi sounds, it was not a lot of DeFi in the crypto space. There were ICO projects which I have been participating in, but those were, okay, you give me your money, we will build something, right? Maybe, or maybe not, usually not, unfortunately. But the DeFi went, I think it was a little bit later. There was the DeFi summer when there were more blockchains than just Ethereum and Bitcoin. Right now we have thousands of those, and would love to speak about that in upcoming minutes. That this is the reason of the onboarding being so challenging right now. But back then, in the DeFi summer, when there was more than just Ethereum mainnet, I were actively participating in the multiple different DeFi products, trying to find out how does it work, what is the user experiences. Obviously, trying to gain some money on top of all those different crypto solutions that were available, right? Different yield generating platforms, different farms, etc. I was there, I was clicking, right? Trying
Yeah,
to
yeah,
explore how I can be the fastest.
right. And as a user, I guess it was like more 7 years ago where you started to experiment a little bit as a user. What do you think has changed about the user experience and the way that you use DeFi from 7 years ago till now?
Oh, this is a tough question. It's been a lot. Like literally, the whole crypto space looks way, way different. And yeah, this is a good one. We can think of that. But tell me, I didn't ask. When have you entered DeFi? What was your
Yeah,
moment?
about 10 years ago as well. Definitely on a different side of things than you. I wasn't as techie at the time. I mean, I was a 14-year-old when I started getting into it. So, I didn't exactly know to start running a GPU and mining Bitcoin, but I started buying it. So I had like a job at a grocery store, and I just like was taking home a little bit of every paycheck
Good
and
one.
putting it into Bitcoin.
DCA into Bitcoin, right? I'm thinking we should start over again, right? It's 65K now.
I have
What's
been,
the
yeah,
base?
I have been. I'm on the DCA grind for the past couple of months. Admittedly, I started doing it at like 80K, so some of it's underwater. But this is why we DCA, right? Take the thinking out of it and just get that exposure over time. So yeah, I'm DCAing right now. But yeah, it went from an interest in Bitcoin that obviously was good because I got to buy a bunch cheap. Um, and I took some of the profits from that and I kind of reinvested it in like knowledge and skills around that I could use. So like I did like some investing and trading school online. I went off to university to do computer engineering, and
Nice.
that kind of intersection brought me to work at a VC in crypto. So I worked 3 years at a crypto VC, advised a lot of projects, took a lot of pitches, brought a couple deals through. Also wrote some code, like more on the data side, some data scraping and repurposing to create indication for us.
Well, as mentioned earlier, usually when we speak about writing crypto, the smart contracts are the smallest chunk of it, right? You do
Yeah,
the app, you do the data, you do so much more around than just the crypto interactions.
yeah, it's true, right? Like it's better for the smart contracts to be more simple
No, that's
because
true.
it's easier to audit it then, right? Like if it has one purpose and one purpose only, it's pretty easy to prove that it does that thing well. The more you try to get it to
Exactly.
do, then the more complex it is, right?
Fully agree on that. But I've asked about when you have jumped into the crypto space because wanted to get know your thoughts on that as well. But maybe starting with mine. You've said what has changed in the crypto space and how the user onboarding looks like. So back in the day, there was one blockchain, one wallet. MetaMask was the let's say first choice of everyone back in the day, and there was, I would say, more sketchy onboarding flows. You were to set up an account at the centralized exchange, which was most of those exchanges no longer exist, to be true, right? So they then when you were to deposit some fiats there through a bank transfer, you never know if they have been still there, right? I mean, it was the most risky part, right? Okay, someone said that this is how you do it, right? You try it, okay, with some small money, then but yes, then you purchase some Bitcoin or ETH or whatever, right? And you can withdraw it into your wallet. Back then, I was not using hardware wallets yet. It was early, so playing with the MetaMask on the EVM side. No KYC, no any regulations around the projects. You were to be super aware that every website you're entering might be actually a scam, right? And that was like there was this page. It was called RackDoc or something like this. I don't remember it anymore. But it was like, okay, here you check which new farms on the DeFi are valid or have at least non-upgradable contracts or something like this. So there were a lot of risks back then. Right now, I do see cryptocurrencies and Web3 services way safer place, more regulated, more universal. A bigger and well-planned applications, in short, right? We see in different spaces, different, let's say, segments. Those applications are real, huge apps, not only on the smart contract side, but also beyond, from the backend perspective, from the technology scaling, etc. And those projects, applications right now are run by real entities, not one solo developer that has built it overnight and would drop it in a week or something like this, right?
Yeah, no, there's not as many PFP founders, right? Like founders are kind of expected to show their face now.
True, that's true. It's changed over time. I think the last bull run was actually the one when proving yourself was important, right? Doxing the team, etc., was important. Right now, we are at the stage where we have corporates entering the space, right? We have giants that are established entities. Some of them are actually listed on exchanges, that let's say traditional exchanges, not the centralized exchanges, right? And they are getting involved into building projects, super apps, perpetual dexes, prediction markets, whatever, right? So that trust is already better in the space, and also onboarding is simpler, right? I don't know. I think 4 years ago, you would not found that the social login solution around the space, right?
Yeah.
Right now, you enter any bigger application, and there's Privy or Magic XYZ there, and you can jump in straight into it, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, you were forced to have your own wallet. Now we have deposit solutions, right? So you deposit funds into the platform, you sign a session key, and the trading or whatever activities are happening from the app as you would be using it in Web2 space, right? So that has changed a lot, right? You don't need to go into crypto first to understand some things. You can use it as regular Web2 user, use those platforms, log in with your Google account or something similar, right? And then top up with your card and participate, right? That is, I think, the biggest difference, and maybe also the scale, right? We have way more users right now in the crypto space than it was back in the days.
Yeah, I think we're kind of at the inception of what you're talking about, which is like the transition from Web3 apps with Web3 user experiences to Web3 apps that are also enabled for the Web2 user, and
available.
like everyone, understands how to use it because it's the same type of app they're used to, where they have a login and they fund the account, and now boom, they're good to go.
Yep.
I think we're like really at the start of that. Actually, there's not actually a lot of that yet. It's just like we now have the possibility to do this, and I see that being a huge trend for user experience going forwards. Yeah, I mean, I going back to what you said about like the centralized exchange thing, right? So I'm in Canada, and not only are most of the exchanges that I used to use not alive anymore, but also the ones that are alive are not available for me to use in my jurisdiction. So like I never touch a centralized exchange anymore. Like it just doesn't happen, and I don't have to. And I think that is one of the biggest changes that I've seen from when I first got into this space is like you used to need to touch the centralized exchange most of the time because the bridging was awful. The wallets were more
Yeah,
complicated.
you were forced to go over the exchange as well, right? To bridge
Yeah.
funds between different blockchains. I forgot about it, but that's true.
Yeah,
uh,
that used to be what I would use it for a lot of the time, and to get deeper liquidity because the on-chain liquidity was pretty thin back then. But yeah, like I would have to use one exchange as like my hub, and I would always be sending funds to and from it and whatever,
mhm.
getting it to help me navigate across the space. So I think that's a big thing that we've progressed to kind of weed out is that you can do it all on chain now, which I think is very important for the onboarding solutions that you guys are creating and just the end goal that you're talking about, because it's one thing to get the user funds on chain. I mean, it's super important to get them on chain and have them be able to custody in a social account, and then the step after that is they actually have to be able to easily execute across all of these
On the,
different things. So I think that's like what you and I have been talking about is like Swapper and SpiceNet as like two sides of this onboarding thing. And yeah, I mean, I think diving into your product more now would make sense. So do you want to tell everyone about
would
what
love to.
Swapper does?
Would love to. Thank you very much, Matt, for that nice change of topic into that one. Would love to. In short, going a little bit back into that private example, where a couple of years ago you were not able to join into any Web3 applications without having a Web3 wallet. Right now you can, and it is more and more popular.
Yeah.
So the next step here is once you enter the application, you are in the part of the application, how do you manage your funds within that application? And in the past, it was pretty common that users were forced to use their own funds on their own wallet. And it creates a lot of problems or challenges. Right now, where we have hundreds of different blockchains, simple CCIP is available in over 75 right now, which is insane numbers. And this is like very, very small amount. I'm still able to find a lot of blockchains that CCIP is not live yet with.
Mhm.
So users are forced to continuously manage those funds, bridge those funds, transfer funds between different ecosystems, and projects are losing from that, right? If you are a user and you got a very, very small interest window where you take a look at the project, you see it somewhere, and it requires you to participate. To participate, you need to have some funds on some wallet, on some blockchain, and you don't have it, you just skip. Maybe, well, it depends how much you are engaged into that, but a lot of users would simply skip, right? Another opportunity, it's so many of those in the crypto space.
Yeah,
And that's,
I certainly do. Like I'm a busy
you,
guy.
I'm
I see an
skipping as well, right?
opportunity. If I don't have an easy way to try out the opportunity, I just skip it. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's what we have noticed, right? And we are solving with Swapper Finance and Chainlink under the hood to simplify and make a unified flow on how users can fund their wallet onto the platform. And there are two ways we see right now. First one is more and more platforms are actually starting to getting those deposit mechanisms like perpetual dexes, prediction markets, they became a platforms that ask you to deposit funds directly into them, right? They create for you a smart wallet or something like this under the hood and ask you to fund, right? So you are becoming a user of that platform then, right? Some of the platforms are still, let's say, operating on Web3 wallets. Well, most of the platforms are still operating on the Web3 wallets of the connected users, and we were building a solution that is dedicated for both of those groups, simplifying how you can fund your wallet on a platform. So you can imagine entering into perpetual DEX. It's somewhere, maybe on BNB or maybe on external blockchain. They've built another layer 2 or something else, right? Which is now easy and fast to deploy a new blockchain itself for these kind of purposes.
Yeah.
And what Swapper Finance allows, it allows an easy user funds onboarding. So you have connected your wallet or log in with the social wallet on that platform itself, but then you need to fund it. You need to have some money to participate in the platform. And this is what Swapper Finance is solving, allowing users to onboard with either with funds that you hold on centralized exchanges. There are some people who still are in this group who
Totally.
only has centralized exchange, and that's it, right? No Web3 wallet. So that's one group. And the second group is cross-chain swaps, cross-chain transactions. You can connect your wallet that you have, and you can browse across different tokens and different value you have across different ecosystems, right? So maybe you can use your ETH from ETH mainnet or some meme coin that you have purchased on Base a while ago, and you would like to use it to participate in the new platform, right? So that's second flow. And the third flow is the fiat to crypto flow, allowing users to onboard with what they have in their regular wallet on their card, right? So you can just provide your card details, Apple Pay, Google Pay, and jump in straight into participating in the crypto space. And under the hood, what Swapper Finance is utilizing is XSwap, Chainlink CCIP powered bridging, cross-chain bridging and swapping capabilities. So we are able to get the best routing for the user and also ensure the best security of those transfers, right? So whenever you are depositing few thousand, whatever amount, you can get and rest assured that those funds would be delivered because it is Chainlink CCIP who is responsible for the funds delivery. And that was always a very important point for me, to make sure that we are working with partners that are delivering, are secure, and that those audited solutions are actually the ones who are responsible for this kind of funds bridging and messages bridging.
I agree with that take. I think trust is kind of the moat in DeFi, because you have like an environment where patents are not that prominent here, and the traditional moats that you would have in like the tech world don't necessarily transfer into DeFi the same way. So I think trust is a super important thing, because this is like one of the only things that, if you're the first person to do something, you retain that advantage as long as you continue to prove the trust. So I think it's important to prioritize that.
And I think it's a nice point to what you have asked earlier about what has changed since 10 years ago to now, right? We have entities like Coinbase who built that trust, who maintained that trust, who never got exploited on their Oracle side, right? Providing us with trusted parties that are trusted on this, let's say, institutional level, right? When I would tell you that you can make a bridge of $1 million between different blockchains through Chainlink CCIP, right? It would not be a huge concern of yours, right? Well, maybe it would be, but from the security perspective, right? And at the same time, 10 years ago or 5 years ago, I would be worried, right? I mean, I would not be that sure that some cross-chain solution would deliver the funds. I would try smaller amounts first, right?
I used to, every single transaction, I used to do like a $1 transaction first. I did that for years and years before I started saying, okay, like, I know that if I send this money to this address, it will get there.
Well, the $1 transaction is more like to ensure that you are sending to the right wallet address, right? But
Yeah.
participating with the bridging solutions, swapping solutions, right? This is you never know, right? If I make a bridge for $1,000, maybe it would go through. But if I would like to do a 1 million, what would happen then, right?
Yeah.
Would they take that money, deliver that money, right? And with Chainlink CCIP, we are confident, right? I am confident. We had those this size of transfers in the past, so we are confident that yes, this would get transferred through, and you can sleep
Yeah.
well with that in mind.
Definitely, yeah, and I mean it's important to have like the good bridging solutions under the hood too, because even a lot of the cross chain architecture that I see, it works some of the times, but the fact that it doesn't work some of the times means like it's borderline unusable, because
Mm-hmm.
like if I go to it and my transaction fails 4 times and I keep
No, it
trying.
got stuck something, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or it
Well,
gets stuck part way, right? That's like the worst one is like, okay, my money left my wallet and it didn't get to do the thing that it was supposed to do in the end. Where is it now?
what's next? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a that's a huge challenge. But this is something that we are right now solving, right? People in the space are right now solving. We have so many different blockchains ecosystems available, and there is simply a great need of this kind of services. You've mentioned, and I fully agree with that, that we are right now at the right moment with these kind of solutions. Swapper Finance or SpiceNets, it's also about user onboarding, right? It's how user can participate in your protocol, how we can simplify that
Yeah.
participation. And there is a building interest from the protocols itself. They've noticed, and people have noticed that they start to compete across different ecosystems, right? And instead of picking a blockchain where there's majority of funds, you now try to think, okay, the blockchain is not that important anymore. It's how I would be able to reach out for everyone in the space, right?
Yeah, totally. Like siloing yourself to one blockchain just doesn't make sense when you don't have to, right? So like a good example of this is yesterday I had a call and I was showing a demo of a project that we're integrated with, and I went and I did like a deposit to an embedded wallet, and then SpiceNet executes the complex intents on their platform, even if it involves like third parties and stuff like that, so that the capital doesn't have to leave their platform. And I was showing this whole flow of like supplying capital to the SpiceNet cross-chain wallet and then executing on this platform gaslessly, whatever, all this stuff. And at the end of it, I was curious. So I didn't even tell him what blockchain the app was on. And I just said, "What chain do you think this app is on?" And he stops. He's like, I don't know. He's like, "Is it on Ethereum?" I'm like, "No, it's not on Ethereum." And that's kind of like the point now, is that we've gotten to a place where it really, to the end user, doesn't matter. Like
No,
you can build.
that's fully agree with that. That's true.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
yeah. And it's great. I think it's awesome, because then the app can just market their product and the outcomes that they create and not worry about like all of the politics of trying to please the Chain Foundation, and then the Chain Foundation like highlights your app, and then you guys together are trying to convince more users to come to your blockchain. Like it's a weird game of
True.
politics that has
True,
existed.
true, true. I think a few years ago, the chain abstraction was a very, very loud topic, right? I don't know, 2, maybe 3 years ago, don't remember right now, but it was a very, very loud topic. And
Yeah.
right now, we sort of became in this world where applications are created either natively, so they pick a blockchain, build the blockchain themselves, or pick it from some incentive that they can receive from the foundation, right? But
Mhm.
they are built in a way that the end user does not really understand or touches where does blockchain integration happen, right? It is on the blockchain, so this is a Web3 app, but the platform is either able to build in an, let's say, optimistic stack or some other stack, right? They are able to speed up the process of setting things up, right? Have it done, and they can manage it, right? They can make sure that, for example, transactions within the app would be free of charge because there will be no gas, right? They will be sponsoring it or something like this, right? So this is we sort of are in this space with chain abstractions, but not provided by as it was initially planned, but more like platforms like yours or Swapper that simplifies the funds onboarding and how user can execute on that platforms.
Yeah, are there any apps that you'd want to point out that you think have done a really good job of this right now?
That's a good question. Yes, I can. I would love to. A good example here from my side would be Extended, a perpetual DEX that you might be familiar with.
Yeah. We've been talking to them actually.
And well, so you would know what blockchain it is, right? But I'm pretty sure a lot of people, like the majority of users, would not know what is the blockchain used under the hood, right? What they where they are holding the platform. There is a prediction market called XO market that we are partnering with and are deploying Swapper Finance into, that also build their own prediction market solution on top of their own blockchain, XO chain, and it is abstracted from the user perspective. You deposit into the app from different blockchains, right? And it's like depositing into Polymarket, right? Obviously, Polymarket, you know that it is built on Polygon, right? But this is the same user flow. You click deposit, you select the USDC or something else that you have on your wallet, you click deposit, and that's it, right? You are able to participate. And I think this is the future, right? Simplifying that user flow, bringing user funds into your application. It's a good strategy. Then it's a higher chance that user would use those funds on your application than somewhere else.
I totally agree. And it makes for stickier capital as well. Doing like this account-based architecture is actually really good for keeping capital in the application.
In the app, exactly.
The extent, like the external wallet thing, I think it's some applications will probably remain that way if they're not meant to be used as like a front-end app. But I think most will move to like an account-based architecture because all you have to do is convince people to come into the account, which is very easy. They want to try the app, right? They're trying to find the way to use your application. You're giving them an easy way to do that, like Swapper, for example, right? And then once they're in there, they have to come back to the app to take their funds elsewhere, which actually is really good for the application because now you have another opportunity to convince them to keep their funds there and keep using the app.
Yep. Yeah, fully agree. And this is something I think we should have learned from the Web2 world, right? This was always the case in neobanks or whatever, right? You were depositing funds into the account, right? But crypto from the very, very origin was built in the way that you were holding your funds in your own Web3 wallet. And maybe it was because this was what users were expecting. I want to own my money. I want to keep it on my wallet, right? I think it has changed a little bit, right? We have more and more applications that try to convince you to deposit into their platform, right? You still sign with your wallet, right? But you are sort of giving away your funds instead of keeping those on your wallet. But well, that's also maybe why we have more people from Web2 world participating and joining, and they're familiar with these kind of flows, right? You deposit funds into an app, and you can use the app features then, right?
Yeah, totally. And having your own wallet and your own key pair is only a feature if you're like top 1% responsible, right? Like, so the
not
first
for everyone,
thing,
that's true.
Yeah, the very first thing I did when I created a MetaMask wallet back in the day was put $500 into it, go to a phishing website by accident, right? I thought I was going to Uniswap. It asked me for my seed phrase, and I just gave it to it because I understood.
How dare you?
I understood nothing, right? I mean, you got to cut me some slack here. This was a long, long time ago, and I was just trying to experiment with it. And like I wasn't used to this idea of, okay, like my funds are in this wallet. I can just like so easily lose them if I click the wrong
Yeah,
thing, right?
it's a big difference compared to your bank account, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
still can lose money from your bank account, but this is not that easy. It's way tougher. And in crypto, yes, wrong address, phishing website, you connect, sign a message, and that's it, right? So, well, social logins, social wallets are good in this sense, right? And depositing into the app, it's also good. Once you deposit funds into the app, they cannot likely be stolen unless from the app itself, right? Or it's harder to stole them in the sense. Usually those applications are using smart wallets anyway, and it's you as an end user who owns the private keys to unlock those, right?
Yeah. No, totally. Well, I think we'll wrap up around here for today, Christopher. But I wanted to give you the platform to share any upcoming any updates that you want to point our community to, anything upcoming that you want them to be on the watch for. Plug any of your socials, and yeah, just let them know how they can get involved.
Oh, that's great. Well, first of all, one more time, much appreciate the invite. It was great chat, and super happy that we got a chance to join here and then speak about that user onboarding. Um, there are a lot of challenges, as you might have heard, right? So a lot of those are right now getting fixed through platforms like SpiceNet or Swapper Finance. Would love to invite you to take a closer look at our socials. Do click this follow button. And in terms of the upcoming updates, we develop very fast, and we deploy also as quickly as possible, at the same time maintaining the highest possible how do you call it, the outcomes, let's say, right? Making sure that this is this works under the
The
hood. Swapper
attention to
Finance.
detail.
Yes, but
Yeah.
that's important, right? User needs to see a high quality platform to deposit funds through it, right?
Yeah.
And under the hood, we are utilizing a battle-tested XSwap services. So we have the CCIP, the Chainlink cross-chain swapping and bridging introduced into Swapper Finance. So the rapid development is also backed by a battle-tested infrastructure under the hood, which was important for us from the day one, making sure that those funds transfers would be secure. Yeah, I think that would be it. What I can add also is that in the upcoming weeks there will be a new portal campaign, but maybe more details would be actually shared on our socials. So just go there, take a look. Maybe it's already announced. Maybe it will be shortly. So follow.
Let me make a banner. What's the at again?
The portal campaign, then the new portal campaign, but it's not live yet. It should be in
No,
upcoming week.
I just mean your X at. I'll tag it on the screen
Oh,
here.
that's a tough question. It's x.com at Swapper Finance. Yes, it should be.
At Swapper Finance. All one word?
Yep.
Okay. Add this banner here. Swapper Finance. Give it a follow. Absolutely. Check them out. Stay up to date. Great things coming for the Swapper Finance folks. Very bullish.
And Matt, one more time, much appreciated for the invite, and it was great chatting with you.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on, Christopher. Take care, everyone.
Take care.